Hey friends, it's Mrs. Schrader from the SchraderPage.com. Today I'm really excited to bring to you one of my new presentations, and this one is called Beyond Flipping Cards, Creating a Classroom of Independent Learners. This is something that I started a few years ago when I was thinking about classroom management in my classroom. What you have with this presentation is you will have a document that you can download, and it is a paper copy of everything that we're going to be talking about today called Beyond Flipping Cards. The first page that you're going to hit is a table of contents, and it's going to talk to you about the 15 different sections that you are going to have in Beyond Flipping Cards, and I'm going to start with section number 1, and that's the introduction. Well, my name is Mrs. Schrader. I am a second grade teacher in Harrisburg, North Carolina. This is my 11th year of teaching, and I've taught grades K through 2. What you're going to see in the introduction is me referring myself to a forever teacher. And that essentially means that I've been teaching as long as I can remember. I grew up teaching dolls and teddy bears and my brothers and sisters and little kids that I've babysat. I've taught at preschools and daycares. And my first position that I accepted was in a kindergarten classroom in Sylvania City Schools in Ohio. So that's originally where I'm from. Then as you go through, you're going to notice that, I don't have a master's degree. I don't have my national boards. I don't have those types of things because I've chosen really and truly to focus on just perfecting my craft in the ways that I felt benefited my classroom. And at this point, I'm not there yet. What I've been working on a lot is my blog and my website. So I am a writer for the SchraderPage.com, the SchraderPage at blogspot.com, and also teaching blog addicts. Recently, my teammate at school and I have combined to create another blog, and that one's called Me and My Gang, and it's specifically for second grade teachers. I've done a lot of training and work with the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. I've taken student teacher. I've also done some work at one of their seminars where I presented on smartboards. I do some online virtual training through my website on smartboards, interactive whiteboards, and now, today, I'm going to be doing some training on classroom and behavior management. One of the things that's really important to me in my classroom, and as you go through the packet, you're going to start to see that I'm really, really big on child labor in a sense. Those students that are in my classroom run my classroom. I start on day one showing them and teaching them the expectations of the classroom. I do not reward good behavior. Good behavior is something that's expected. It's something that I should have you doing because you're supposed to, not because I'm going to give you a sticker or a cookie or a lollipop or something like that. I do reward extraordinary behavior in the classroom. I have 3 gold stars that are up on my board, and if someone does something that is extraordinary, and we do the first couple days of school really sit down and explain what is good behavior, what's expected behavior, and what is exemplary or fantastic or extraordinary, outstanding, over the moon behavior. We go over and we talk about those things so that they have a really good understanding. When someone drops a whole box of crayons all over the floor and someone else comes over and helps them clean it up, that's extraordinary behavior to me. That is something that's going above and beyond, and they do get rewarded, and I have a prize pot and all of those things in my classroom. Those are present, but truly good behavior is expected, and you should expect it too. Keeping an understanding that children don't always know exactly what good behavior is, what is expected of them, unless you have really clear expectations in your classroom and you model how they should be behaving, all the way down to how they sit on the floor, how they raise their hand, how they respond to each other. For me, behavior management should be part of your course of study. You should be spending a good portion of that first month of school teaching them how to manage themselves. It's not you managing them, running around and giving people red circles if they're good and black circles if they're not, and writing in little books and notes, and you have enough to keep up with. You don't need to be keeping up with those types of things. Good behavior is expected, and if good behavior is not given, it's 90% of the time it's because you have not laid the foundation for them to know what is expected. So you need to go back and reteach that. It may be specific reteaching for that child. But for the most part, children don't come to school to misbehave and get themselves into trouble. You need to look underneath and see what's going on. In my classroom, we live by several words, and one is courage. And I'm going to tell you the story. I was racing to the bathroom, as you all know and you probably identify with, in between, I don't know, it was a special art or music, and I went into the teacher's lounge, and this is a little graphic, but I sat down to go, and I looked up, and there was a sign on the door. It was a poster, and it said, "Courage is doing what's right when others are doing wrong." And you know what? That spoke to me, and it truly hit me that why am I not teaching that to my class? So I spend a good part of my day teaching the students, reminding them how to have courage, how to make the right choices. Now, I know a lot of people have gone to the pulling cards, the above the line, below the line, and that is a common behavior management technique, but not all students need it. There may be like 4 students in your classroom that needs a system like that. So oftentimes when it's put across the board in the classroom, it's really ineffective for teaching behavior management skills, teaching skills, so lifelong skills that they can have so that they can be successful adults. They know how to manage their behavior. It gives consequences, it certainly does. It makes students responsible for their behavior, but for those repeat offenders that are constantly the red student because they're always getting their card pulled, it's doing nothing from that for them. And those are the ones that truly need the behavior management. I do have a book in my classroom, the Oops book. I introduce it on day 1. I'm not really sure where the idea came from, but we did use it in Ohio. My friend, Mrs. Wood in Ohio, had sent me, or we had started using it together. And initially we had a large bound book, and they would write all their information down. And for me, it wasn't effective because when I needed the book, it wasn't there. It's, you know, when we're at recess or when we're down by the bathroom, and I never had it handy with me. So what I do now in my classroom is I have small red stop signs that say stop and make a better choice, stop and think about it, make a better choice. And I keep them in a little pouch that I wear. And if you're looking at your document, you can see me in my little butterfly pouch at the end of the year. I keep those in there, and if I see someone making not a great decision, I will hand them that stop sign, and they consider that their warning. And if I need to talk to them again, they will come back, and what I've done is taken a class set of 24 index cards, and I number my students, so each card has a number. I hole punched and put them on a ring, and the ring is actually attached to my apron, so it's with me all the time no matter where we go. I'll grab that student that needs more of a reminder, and he or she and I will sit down. We'll talk about what's going on. They will sign their name. I write the offense, and we date it, and we consider that kind of like the second warning. Third time, if there's an issue again within the same day, they highlight their name, and I do have a behavior reflection form that I staple and send home with their parents. I also am really always try very hard to make sure that I email their parent that form is coming home. So they will get that type of form. If there's a third time, they may miss a little recess. If there's a fourth time, within one day, and they make a phone call home to their parents. I don't call, they'll make the phone call. And I explain this right away at Meet the Teacher Night. And that's truly effective when they know that they have to make that phone call home to mom and dad. Usually by the fourth time, that gets in control. The nice thing about the card is if I'm conferencing with a parent, I can pull it out and they can see it. They can see what the offenses are, what the issues are in the classroom. If I have somebody that's having a lot of offenses, that's somebody that I'm going to put on a behavior plan, like pulling cards or taking little cubes away or something like that. I'm not going to do that to my whole entire class. Students also know that if their card gets full, I copy it and send it home to their parents. And honestly, I've never had a child in 11 years or 8 years that I've been using the Oops book fill their cards. So normally there's a couple that I think that might do it, but we usually by January have a pretty good understanding of what the expectations are in the classroom. Very consistent with things, and I work really, really hard to make sure that they understand what's expected, what's okay, what behavior is okay. And as you go through, you can take a look at pictures of my OOPS book in the document. And, that's my unofficial behavior policy. But if you ask my class why they're at school, they'll say to learn, because I come up and I sit down every morning and I say, friends, I'm so excited. Do you know that I'm living my dream? Have I told you that being a teacher is my dream and I'm living it with you? I'm here to teach, and why are you here? And they know they're here to learn. And we talk about how that can be something that is great, fun, and exciting and engaging, or it can be something that's not so fun, because if they can't manage their behavior, I'm not going to be able to do the things that we normally do within the classroom. We also talk about the fact that I don't have the ability to make them learn. I cannot force them to learn. This is something that they need to take upon themselves. We also, in new a couple of years ago, we're using SIOP goals where we're posting our objectives in the classroom. And I was a little annoyed with it at first, but then I went ahead and made it a job in my classroom. So it's great when I come up to sit down to start math, whoever my learning objectives person is comes up and reads our learning objectives for the subject, and we sit down and talk about it. And it truly makes sense. The first goal is for me. That's what I'm creating the lesson about. And the second goal is for my students and what their job is during the lesson, because I'm here to teach and you're here to learn. And it makes a lot of sense. So we went ahead and we did behavior goals in the classroom. We created them ourselves, that we'll manage our seat, and we'll stay organized, we'll be kind and respectful. And along with reading the goals every day, we read our behavior objectives and goals too. And it's worked out beautifully. It's done really, really well. I'm going to end this portion now. This is your basic introduction to Beyond Flipping Cards. Beyond Flipping Cards. And I sure hope that you'll come back and visit and see the rest of the presentation as I go through some different ways that I manage my classroom in second grade. So once again, it's Mrs. Schrader, theschraderpage.com. Thanks. Bye now.